Jupiter Aries transit 2023. Spirit power awakens. Hello, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and you are landing right here on the thunderwizard.com YouTube channel. So today is Saturday the 22nd as I am recording this in Australia. By the time it's up and by the time you watch it, it'll be Saturday where you are, the 22nd. So it's actually the 21st on the other side of the globe. But whatever time it is, as I'm making this video, Jupiter has just entered, like within the last few hours, Jupiter has just entered into Aries. This is extremely significant. We are going to see huge, huge shifts. What you're seeing here to your left, on my right here, what you're seeing here to your left is a mantra that I want you to memorize, because this mantra is going to be incredibly powerful to help Jupiter rise up and become the avenging priest. And it will allow Jupiter to reveal deep and hidden spiritual truths. It will allow Jupiter to bring expansion, healing. It will bring awareness, because Jupiter is now out of Pisces. And Jupiter in Pisces is deep within. So Jupiter has been deep within. This is Pisces is the 12th house, which represents leaving the physical body, going back to the spirit. When, this is Jupiter's sign, and it is, Jupiter has two signs. He has Sagittarius, which is the priest out in public, doing the fire oblations and doing his rituals to empower and heal. And then he has Pisces, where he goes deep within and he goes into samadhi and he meditates, and he goes into his cave and he meditates very deeply. So he's just come out of very deep meditation. This represents a new beginning, because, any planet going through the entire zodiac, that's an entire age of that planet. So Jupiter is now in the first house in Aries, and he is starting a new trek through the zodiac. So Aries is a Mars sign, and it is the warrior. And it is, the warrior is all about action. And what do warriors do? They go out and destroy negativity. They protect the innocent by destroying negativity, fighting corruption, destroying corruption. So now Jupiter, who is very good friends with Mars, Mars is the general and Jupiter is the priest. And so when Jupiter and Mars are working together, then the general is saying, I want to go out and destroy the enemy. And Jupiter says, wait until it's auspicious. Make sure that whatever you do is about spiritual righteousness, not about bloodshed or destruction. And so the general has to do his job to only go into battle to destroy the most destructive parts of society, while protecting and liberating the innocent. And so now Jupiter has come in here and he has that fire within him. So he's ready to go to war. Now, I have to tell you something about Jupiter. Mars is the warrior. We all know that. But when Jupiter decides to go to war, even Mars trembles. Because Mars comes at you with physical strength, whereas Jupiter comes at you with spiritual truth. And the truth that Jupiter reveals, nobody can withstand. Nobody, and we see this even in Norse mythology, when Loki was he was rebelling against all of the gods, and he was revealing all of the secrets of the gods. He was actually revealing their hypocrisy and their corruption and their lies. And then Thor came in. Now Thor is Jupiter, and specifically Jupiter the warrior. Thor came in, and Loki was going to do that same thing to Thor, and Thor said, "Be quiet." And Loki shut up. And this is the power that Jupiter has. Jupiter has the power to quiet the most destructive element. Jupiter has the ability to show you the spiritual truth. Now, it's interesting I talk about Loki, because actually Loki and Thor are very good friends. And they actually go off together, to have adventures. So we have what's called Guru Chandal Yoga, which is it means teacher demon conjunction. And so you'll hear some negative things about this, but the only way that this can be negative is if you're not in your highest awareness. So Jupiter is working towards your highest awareness. So if you are doing this mantra, which I will teach you how to do, make sure you stay till the end of the video, and I will chant this mantra for you and tell you how to do it and all the representations of it. But Jupiter and Rahu can work together extremely well. Now, Rahu is not, you have to think of Rahu as like a ghost. He's not a physical planet. As you know, he's a point in the sky. He's a mathematical point in the sky. And so whenever he is conjunct another planet, what's happening is the energy of that planet is coming to Earth. And then this ghost gets in front of it. And so the energy of that planet has to go through the filter of Rahu or Ketu. Now, this filter of Rahu will react depending on whatever planet is shining through it. So Jupiter is really the only planet that can shut Rahu down, just like Thor and Loki. Rahu must bow down to Jupiter. But what ends up happening is that when that happens, when Rahu and Jupiter are conjunct, and Jupiter is operating well, now Jupiter is empowered in this sign of Aries. The fire has gotten underneath him. He's just come out of water, by the way. So Jupiter has been in water. So we just went through a Gandanta period. What he's doing is he's shaking the water off of him. So Gandanta is when you have a planet that is going from a water sign to a fire sign. And so Jupiter was deep in meditation. And you know how when you're trying to wake up and you can't wake up, and you really and it's like, oh, and you're really wanting to wake up? Jupiter has been wanting to wake up. So he's been like slugging through the water, trying to get himself out of this deep meditation, because he's now had this awareness and he knows what he needs to accomplish. And he's excited to get into Aries and take action. So he's still waking up from that. He's still waking up. So we need to help him. That's why we're going to chant this mantra. One of the problems with Guru Chandal Yoga is that potentially you can have people becoming spiritually misled. You can get, have magical thinking. You can forget your, what is practical. You can get deep into all kinds of crazy spirituality and not be able to do anything with it. Rahu is somebody that goes after your obsessions. So, you need to be focused on your spiritual path in order to help wake Jupiter up because eventually this conjunction of Jupiter and Rahu will go their separate ways, and then and then Jupiter's really going to kick into gear even more. But if we take advantage of this time, this is the time when Rahu can reveal hidden, occult, spiritual energies, because that's who Rahu is. Rahu is very spiritual, and he's very easily influenced by who's ever in the room. So when the priest comes into the room, Rahu wants to become religious, and he wants to focus on spirituality and truth. And so if he has a lot of power and Jupiter doesn't, then he'll start getting really into the occult part of it, and you might get into some black magic, and then you get lost. You lose what you're doing. But when Jupiter and Rahu are working together cooperatively, which is very easy to do in Aries because the fire is waking Jupiter up very quickly. The fire of Mars is waking him up very quickly. So once he wakes up with that fire, he's just come out of his deep meditation, he's had his revelation, he knows what nonsense he needs to destroy. He knows what truth bomb, what lightning bolts he's going to throw at the people who have been, while he's deep in meditation, he knows that the corrupt elements have been out there taking advantage of his absence. He knows this. So every time he comes out of this, he knows he has to go to war and destroy your misunderstandings, your lack of understanding, all of those things. So, this definitely happened to me, but it probably happened to you as well. The past few days especially, I have been feeling really bogged down. I had been feeling really confused, disheartened. I had this opportunity, which really blew my mind. A visa lawyer was looking at trying to get me a visa based on me being a spiritual practitioner. And I thought, oh my God, I'd never thought of that. And it gave me such a different view of myself. And then that came crashing down yesterday. So that's the kind of stuff that happens when, Jupiter is, he doesn't have the power to bring that up. So the spiritual practitioner thing wasn't going to fly right now because Jupiter just doesn't have the strength. I'm going to try again later, after a month or so, when Jupiter's a little more powerful, maybe I'll have better luck. But if you've been feeling disappointed, bogged down, confused, I'm not feeling very trusting of your spiritual connection, that's because Jupiter's been in Gandanta. But all of that's going to change. What this means for the world is that when Rahu and Jupiter are together, and Jupiter is powerful and they're conjunct like this, what's going to happen is Rahu is going to reveal the hidden truth of the corrupt people. Because Jupiter is going to say, give me all the lowdown. Tell me what's been going on. Tell me the people that you have been deluding into their narcissism. Tell me what they've been doing. And Rahu will have to oblige. And so what you have is this power of Jupiter coming at Earth, and then there's this screen of occult, hidden spirituality. So you see what happens when you have the priest. When the priest has, the orb from, the magical orb from Lord of the Rings, he can do something with it. It's not something that'll harm him. So a lot of stuff is going to come to the forefront. And also, when you have this connection with Jupiter and Rahu, time will tell if I'm right about this. I think we're going to see a lot more, we're going to have a lot more experiences with higher dimensional beings. Because Rahu represents that as well. He represents other dimensions. Now, if it's a negative planet and he comes in front of that, he might open doors to negative entities from lower dimensions. But when Jupiter comes through and Rahu and Jupiter connect, it's going to open up portals to higher dimensions. And my feeling, recently, I don't think anybody's looked too deeply into this, but I think I can have a pretty good idea of what kind of experience somebody's going to have with their interdimensional meditation based on where Jupiter is in their chart. So, I'm still doing research on it, but so far the research I've done, it seems to, if you want to know, if I tell somebody do CE5, do interdimensional meditation, and if you want to know what that's going to be like, just look at your chart. Mine, Jupiter retrograde in Pisces in the 8th house. You can't get more transformative and deep and intense and spiritual. And as you know, the experience for me was absolutely, it shattered my awareness. And now I have this incredibly deep connection with them. So the point I'm trying to make is that with Jupiter and Rahu coming conjunct into Aries, I think we're going to be seeing in the sky, I think we're going to be seeing a lot more real ETs, and people are going to start having more experiences with higher dimensional beings. And the lies that you have been told about the nature of this phenomenon will be revealed. I'll just leave it at that. I talk about some of that on my Rumble channel if you want to go take a look at that. I am on Rumble. Go there and subscribe to me there. But this is the perfect time. Right now is the perfect time to launch into the interdimensional revolution. If you haven't gotten that book, go get it. It's on Amazon, Kindle, Audible. You can go to Michael William Denny, DENNEY.com. Somebody commented on one of the most recent videos and said, I wish you were on Lulu because that's print on demand. And I said, Amazon is print on demand. So you'll have your own book. If you want a printed book and you go and get that book on Amazon, you can have one printed on demand for you. Anyways, people are, Mercury is either going retrograde or is about to go retrograde. Let me see what's going on. Mercury is retrograde. So people are saying stupid things that are annoying me. Don't annoy me. That's not a good way to deal with me. Don't annoy me. Think things through. Don't be stupid. Anyway, nothing personal. I'm just joking around. So I told you that I would give you the mantra. So here is the mantra. First, let me tell you what this mantra is. So Ishana. Ishana is one of the names of Shiva. So Ishana Shiva is also a guardian of one of the directions. And his direction is the northeast. The northeast is the most sacred direction. That's true in Taoist understanding. That's true in Vedic understanding. And it's true in the Norse understanding, as I have brought it together, syncretized it. The northeast represents the highest energy, the highest of ethers. It is the energy that exists that is the closest to the higher dimensional energies as it just begins to congeal into manifested form. It is the highest ether there is. And in Vedic understanding, that's where you put the, if you can put the altar anywhere, you can put it in the east, but in the northeast is the most powerful place. That's where you want to worship the gods, worship the ancestors. The Taoists said that the northeast and the southeast were called ghost doors. And that's because each one of those directions was a portal to different dimensions. The southwest is a portal to your unconscious, the lower dimensions, the underworld. So you don't want to open that one up. That's why when you do the Hul breath, your palms are facing down. You are closing that gateway. Even if you face southwest and you do the Hul breath, H-U-U-L breath, go look for it on my, just Google it, H-U-U-L breath, you can learn that. If you face the southwest and do that, you will be able to work through your unconscious issues without having to bring that garbage up in a destructive way. The northeast is a ghost door, and that's why you put the altar there. You put the altar there, why? Because in the northeast, it is so ethereal that if you are not spiritually mature, you can become a fanatic. You can become somebody who goes and starts a war over spiritual things. When what you should do is use that energy to create a connection with people, to bring healing, to bring awareness. It is the energy that, when it is pure, will come in and destroy your limitations. So I can tell you from personal experience, when you are face to face with higher dimensional energies, you can sometimes get kind of screwy in your thinking. You might get frightened or even paranoid. You might mistake higher dimensional energies for something less noble. So we need to have the altar there so that as that incredibly high vibrational energy comes through our devotion to spiritual truth, we get to evolve. We get to go beyond our limitations. We get to go past our fears. We get to go past our attachments to the third dimension. So Ishana, Shiva, represents, he is Shiva's representation of Jupiter. So Shiva has a bunch of different planets, but when we worship Ishana, we are worshiping the highest consciousness in the highest elemental energy, which is the highest ether. So that is who this deity is in the mantra. So normally his mantra, if you just want to face the northeast and worship Ishana, the mantra is Om Hang Ishanaya Nama, which means I bow to the ether of the self-mastered one. Ishana means self-mastery. So it's the beginning of the identity. In other words, this is your true identity. Not your false, limited 3D entity. This is your true, higher dimensional identity. That's why it's Shiva. And Ishana means the ruler. The ruler meaning the ruler of the self, the highest self. So what I've done is I've put all 5 of the elements here, because normally Om Hang Ishanaya means I bow to the, and I empower ether, Hang. Hum. You might see it written as H-A-M, hum, but it's pronounced with an N-G, even if you close the mouth, hum, hum. So that is only one of the 5 elements. So because Jupiter is coming out of Pisces and he's waking up, the other thing that's happening is that there's a whole karmic redistribution and rebalancing that's coming. Because all of the karma of the previous 12 signs that Jupiter has been in, now he's going to rebalance all of that karma and that dharma. So we want all 5 elements. You'll feel the power of this when you do it. It's going to stimulate all of the 5 elements in the first 5 chakras. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham is root, sacral, navel, heart, and throat. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham. Yeah. So it will also empower the throat to speak the truth. So this will empower the priest, Guru, Jupiter, to speak the truth, to reveal the truth. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Mars is in Gemini. Gemini is the sign of the professor who is giving a lecture. It is communication. So that means Mars is in the sign of communication. So Jupiter is going through Mars' sign of Aries. And Mars is then going to speak that truth from the mindset of a warrior. He's going to communicate the truth that his friend, the priest, is revealing. Because, Mars is shining down on him through the sign of Aries, which is emboldening Jupiter to become the warrior. And of course, Mars is looking down on that, and he's going to reveal that truth with the mind of a warrior, which means he's going to go after corruption, lies, deceit. He's going to reveal it. Very exciting time. If you're on the right side of spirituality, if you're on the wrong side of it, it can be pretty challenging. But for the most part, this is going to be a very expansive. Things are going to move forward. You're going to see things in your life begin to move forward. There are going to be things about your life that have never taken off. I'm thinking about things in my own life, which I'm pretty sure are going to start moving. But there are things about you and your life, the things that you have worked on spiritually for years or decades, depending on how old you are. This is going to be the time when all of that spiritual work is now going to kick into gear. Because I believe that this is in the nakshatra of Ashwini. Yeah, Sun, Jupiter, Rahu are all in Ashwini, which is the horses. Movement. So things are going to take off. Horses were the jet engine of the age. So imagine a jet engine instead. It's going to take off. So your spiritual work now is going to take off for you in all kinds of ways, depending on your chart, of course. So we're going to chant all 5 of the elements to really empower and balance Jupiter as he gets on his horse and he takes off with the power of Aries, motivating him to go forward and destroy negativity and reveal the truth. So that mantra is right here. You can take a look at it. It is Om Lang Vang Rang Yang Hung Ishanaya Hung. That last syllable, Hung. Looks like hung, but pronounce the U as a U. Hung. So hung is a very powerful syllable. It is called a weapon syllable, and it's used to destroy demons. So we're going to empower Jupiter to be a demon fighter, to go and destroy the demons. So we're going to give him all 5 of the elements. Of course, the hum element, the ether element, which is the throat, the voice, is already going to be empowered because that is Ishana's main seed mantra and his main, sorry, I got distracted. His main mantra of the throat and speech and the ether, which is in the northeast. So I'm going to chant that a few times. It goes like this. Om Lang Vang Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. You have to say Hung like that. Om Lang Vang Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. Om Lang Vang Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. Om Lang Vang Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. Om Lam Vam Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. So there it is. Om Lang Vam Ram Yang Hang Ishanaya Hung. You can have different things, intentions with this mantra. You can think about your identity, your true identity. One of the things that I have had most powerfully happen with me in my interactions with higher dimensional beings is I am continuously being revealed my true identity in the spirit world. You know, who I am, you know, in higher dimensions. And it's challenging for the three-dimensional ego. You'd think, oh, I'm this amazing thing in higher dimensions. But when you're not dealing with your narcissism and your delusion, when you actually see your true self in higher dimensions, it's actually challenging on your 3D ego. So this is a way to break through your self-doubt, your self-destructive nature, your self-sabotage, your self-devaluation. Of course, it will help you see the true self of others as well. So you can't be empowering yourself and devaluing others. So you're going to have to start looking to see other people as well. You can have the intention to see the truth in other people's true identities, see beyond their 3D false self. You can imagine Guru, Jupiter, the planet Jupiter, going through and being fully empowered to reveal the highest spiritual truth. You can imagine Jupiter bringing the highest ether energy to bless, to spiritually bless, to bring blessings and peace, spiritual joy and bliss to the world. You can be thinking about Jupiter bringing the 5D shift. These are all things that you can use. If you want, you can face northeast and you can offer flowers. This is what Jupiter likes. Face northeast, offer flowers, I don't care what kind, and chant Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Ishanaya Hum. If you have a mala, you can use a mala. It has 108 beads on it. I've got a video. Just search on my channel for 40-day ritual, and I'll teach you how to do that. Yeah, and you can also just do it silently because this is the highest ether. So if you're around people, you can silently be to yourself. Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Ishanaya Hum. Doing it under your breath or just doing it silently in your mind. You can do it as you fall asleep and wake up. You know, there is a mantra practice which can be done, a japa mantra practice, which is you chant a mantra 24/7. So if you're by yourself walking around your house, you chant it out loud. Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Ishanaya Hum. Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Ishanaya Hum. If you're out with other people and you don't want them to hear you, but they're not right next to you, you can whisper it. Om Lam Vam Ram Yam Ham Ishanaya Hum. Or if you just want to be completely silent, you do it inward. And the idea is to do it so much that when you do it as you're falling asleep. You'll chant it in your dreams. You'll wake up chanting it in your mind. When you do that, you know that you've really empowered the mantra. So there's another one for you. Go and try that one out. But in any case, just be prepared to focus on the highest ether so that Rahu will be motivated to take his lens that sees through the dimensions, and he will focus on the higher dimensional energies and the revelation of the higher dimensional energies. All right, that's it. So I can already feel the power expanding. I can already feel the success and the bliss and the blessings coming. And I'd love to hear your experience with this mantra and with this transit. So that's it for me, guys. I wish you all the best. I will see you all next time. And of course, you know the deal. Subscribe to the Thunder Wizard channel here on YouTube. Like, comment. Go up to the 90-day challenge, thunderwizard.com. This is the perfect time. By the way, if you've been waiting to start the Warrior 90-day challenge, you could not have a better astrological time than now. If you do the Warrior 90-day Lightning Qigong, or if you're doing the Mao Shan stuff, if you do it now, you're going to feel huge amounts of energy rushing through you. This is probably one of the best times in history to do it. So go to thunderwizard.com, subscribe to the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. Just press play on the videos, follow my instructions. If you don't like it, you can unsubscribe. What the heck have you got to lose? It's the price of a video game. Come on. Do this for you, invest in you. Okay, that's it for me, guys. And of course, this is also an incredible time to do interdimensional meditation. Those of you who, I don't know a better time in history starting now. So enjoy. All right, I'll see you guys later.